Hafa Day and welcome to Coffee with the Candidates. I'm Clint Mergel, joined here with Senator Aline Yamashita at the Port of Mocha and Agana. Welcome, Senator.
Hi, Clint. Good to see you.
All right, good to see you. All right, so Senator Aline Yamashita is a two-term senator, and you are vying now for your third term. But in the past, actually, in an interview with me, you had mentioned that you didn't want to run again. You've changed your mind this time. You decided to run again for a third term. Tell us why.
You know, and you're right, Clint. I remember at the very beginning of this last term, you were in the office interviewing me about a measure that I introduced to have term limits for senators. And at that time, I said, I know the pushback on the bill was that I was being self-serving for myself. And I said to you, I'm not running again. And I made that statement because at that point in time, I really meant it. It was a brutal campaign. It was a tough campaign. I had dropped by 5,000 votes. And I learned a lot about politics, about campaigning, about people. And at that point, I decided 2 more years, I should be able to get everything done, and I'll move on and do other things. Well, 2 more years has come and gone, and I've realized how to strengthen myself in this world of politics. I've realized that there's still a lot of work to be done. I've had the honor to meet a lot more families, and I fully understand how they really do need more voices as policymakers to strengthen the policies and the practices and the programs that would best help them be healthy, happy, and productive. And so, in considering all of that, and considering that it is a gubernatorial election, which always brings out more support and has more activity in the events, we thought about it. The Families First team thought about it, and we made the decision to try one more time. So that's why I decided to run it.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your term as a senator, 2 terms as a senator, and your experience as a senator. What were some of the most difficult issues that you had to deal with during your term as a senator?
I'm a teacher, and I'm a mom, okay? And so in those worlds, you pretty much have a handle on what happens and doesn't happen. I have learned that the notion of respect and regard just has to be key, no matter how aggravated or frustrated I get. In this world, I've learned I have to be focused, I have to know what it is I want to get done, and I have to be really strategic in getting it done. And I have to understand not everyone's going to agree with me. And even if they say yes, at the end of the day, it might be no. And I have learned incredibly how to compartmentalize. If I have a really bad day and on the session floor, I have learned how when I'm driving home to take those feelings and those reactions and put it in a part of my brain and try not to have it just ruin the rest of...
Impact the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. And I've had to really work at that. There have been some really painful times. And so I've learned that. So I think for me that's been the most trying part of being a legislator.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to sort of grade yourself as a senator. What are, if any, were some of you would consider your failures as a senator and your successes?
Okay, failures. Well, the parking lot measure, I was not able to, even though we had all the public hearings and even though we had all the meetings, I wasn't able to compel the business people to understand why our parking lots should be wider. And so, of course, the governor vetoed that, and for me, that was a huge failure. I understood why. I always understand reasons why people act, but honestly, Clint, we get into a parking lot, and people with strollers, people with walkers, people with bags, you can open up your door, but it's very hard to get out.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I have kids, I know what you're talking
right.
about.
And so for me, it was a quality of life issue. You know, that's why I introduced that. And so when the businesses said to me, you have no business telling us how to do our business, I said, well, I'm representing the concerns of our people. And not everybody wants a blue decal, and not everybody needs a blue decal, but everybody should be able to open up their property and get out in a dignified manner, right? So for me, that was a huge failure. I think there have been very little failures, actually. I think we've pretty much been able to keep going and moving forward. Successes, I think we've had a lot of successes, and a lot of that has really been working with all these different circles. Circles in the communities, circles in organizations, circles in agencies, and everybody come together and get a really good handle on where we need to get and how we need to get there. So I feel very good about that.
All right, Senator, so let's talk about some of the issues. What is the biggest issue you think, the most important issue you feel that's facing the island of Guam today?
I think the most critical issue that's facing our island is our social-emotional health. And that starts from our birth all the way, from sunrise all the way to sunset. I believe that our crime rates, our welfare rates, our sexual abuse, the violence that's happening across our families is horrible. And that's has to be of great concern to everybody in position. We need to be able to provide opportunities so that every single child grows to be healthy and confident and knows how to make good choices. That goes from teacher preparation, that goes to program supports, it goes to workforce development. It's something as basic as how to be good a parent, how to be a good parent. And so I'm very worried about our suicide rates. I'm very worried about how our Manumco, now we have about 270 who have been abused this last year. The socio-emotional fabric of our families is fraying, and we need to get a handle on that right away.
And another issue that's generated a lot of buzz throughout the community, no pun intended, medical marijuana. What is your stance on medical marijuana?
Medicinal marijuana, I'm honored to be a co-sponsor of Senator Tina Munoz-Barnes on that measure. Clint, I have said many times that we're all going to die. That's no question. Some of us know that we're going to die in 2 months because we have a horrible illness. Some of us also know that medicinal marijuana may help us, and when we find out that we have to go live off island to do that. I've been in enough meetings to hear the families cry when they have to raise money, when they have to figure out which hospital to go to, and then where to live when they're there, where the church is, what transportation looks like. And I think that we should be able to give our families medicinal marijuana as an option of medicine. And so I fully support medicinal marijuana.
And the third really big issue that, of course, has sort of divided the community in some ways, from what I've seen, is, of course, the military buildup. There's those that are for it and those that are against it. What is your stance on the Guam military buildup?
I'm for the military buildup. I would be the very last person to turn in my passport. I am proud to be American. I have no doubt in my mind that because of America, I am a single mom. I've gone to school. I've run for office. I have a child with a disability, and I have a child who doesn't have a disability, but I'm able to live in a world where I can take advantage of opportunities and do the best that I can. There's no place else that we can do this. I do believe that respect and regard needs to be at the table as we hammer out the details of the buildup. And I actually do believe that that respect and regard has been there from all sides. I think there's some very passionate people who are very concerned about where our island has come and where it's going to go, and I'm very glad they're speaking up.
All right, Senator, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it, and good luck.
Thanks very much.
All right, and that's it for Coffee with the Candidates here at the Port of Mocha in Agana. I was here with Senator Aline Yamashita, who is running for re-election to what she hopes to be her third term in office. Thank you.